born in Maffra on the 21st of the 7th, 1931, and named Stanley William John Hunt. My parents were Gladys Isabel Hunt, Nika Bain, and John William James Hunt. I think I should have a name like Hunt, as I've been rabbiting and shooting since I was a little kid, also fishing. My father and mother used to take me trapping of a night time around the river over logs and through blackberries when I was 4 years old, with an old Caro lantern, not a pump-up one, but the old type with a wick. You were lucky to see 2 foot in front of you. Dad used to skin the rabbits and sell them round the town and send the skins to Melbourne to be sold. The Depression had been on and there was no work, only with the sustenance, which was an allowance to keep a family. Dad milked a few cows and sent the milk to the factory to help. You could run cows on the road in those days for 5 shillings a year, equal to 50 cents. You were supposed to have them off the road of a night. Dad had a big garden and plenty of chooks, ducks, so we ate pretty well. We didn't have much in the way of clothes, but we survived. I lived mainly in sales since I've been married. I married a girl from Sale, Margaret Crozier. They were locals here. I worked at Howard's in Sale and Jensen's in Sale and the railways at Sale. Then I went up to Southern New South Wales. I never worked in Southern New South Wales. I'd retired when I went up there. I was up there for 23 years at Bermagui. Now back in Sale, been back here 7 years. I was wrapped up with a lot of the bike riding and everything round here with this. Well, I used to ride with the Sale Club, but I didn't compete with them because I was amateur. Mm-hmm. They were professional. We used to sing all those old songs you've just been talking about at the community singing at the Palais during the war. Laura Trimble was one of them amongst them then. Yeah, they used to be on every week. We used to go to them. That's when I started going with my bride.
Oh, with Marg.
That's when I started going with Marg. Yeah.
Oh, so young people went to the community singing?
Oh, yes. Oh yeah, it used to be nearly all the old ones were at the war. A lot of them, yes. No, all the young people were there and the old people. They used to be really good nights. Yeah.
Yeah, so now we know quite a bit about the Palais like that. Yeah. It was a very popular place. Yeah, there was most of us young ones went there and done tap dancing. Some of the girls done toe dancing. It was very popular at that time. There were steps up to it to go into the building itself. And
the stage.
Yeah, but steps from the footpath.
Yeah.
And we used to go and buy a pennyworth of broken biscuits and sit on the steps and eat those after we'd finished dancing.
Yeah. They used to have boxing in them days, sometimes at the Palais. Yeah, that used to be good too. Yeah. Well, I met Marg when we were going to the tech school. And then we used to go to the dances all the time, but she wouldn't go home from the dance with me because she reckons I used to get drunk. Yeah. So she used to give me a talking to. She wouldn't go out with me, but anyway, in the finish I wore her down. Yeah. Yeah, well, she was Marg Crozier when I went to school with her. Marg's grandfather had been a guard, I think, on the railways at Sale. Marg's father was a baker, a pastry cook. Ted Crozier was a baker there. And Pop, he he started a pie shop and everything. He bought
Cakes.
He bought Mary Lazaro out, and he's put in pastry and that in there, pies and pasties and cakes and all that stuff. Yeah, and the mother had a
Catering business.
catering business, and then she took on a shop round near the tech school. She opened that up.
Street,
Yeah,
cafe.
yeah. Well, in them days we used to have to go on Shanks's pony. We never had a car or anything like that. I had to walk. I used to have to hitchhike from Sale to Maffra or Maffra to Sale. All the time I used to have to get my shoes mended every week. Walking home from Maffra to Sale, sometimes you couldn't get a ride. Yeah, and 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning after going home from the dances, and that.
By yourself or were there others?
By myself. Sometimes there was one time there was a lot of us. An whole ute were in broke down, and we had to walk. It took us about 3.5 hours to get home that night, but I walked it quite a bit on my own.
And what did you do when you were courting?
It was just courting.
Yeah, but where did you go?
Oh, down Lake Guthridge to see the luminous ducks.
Oh.
Yeah, we used to go down round Lake Guthridge and Macmillan Park.
So you convinced Marg then that you weren't a bad type?
Oh, yeah, yeah. No.
And what happened then?
Oh, well, we got hitched then, and we had a family. We had a family of 5.
So what was your first job in Sale?
Working at the a baker's. Had been Crozier's bakers, Marg's uncles, and then chap Scott bought it, and yeah, he was a bit of an old drunk, and he had me driving the little bus out along the Sale Road, the Stratford Road, and delivering bread out there. And then I used to go out twice a week to Kilmany and Pearsondale and Longford up to the 3GI hill, as far as the 3GI hill. In them days it was all zoned, and old Scotty had the, as I said, he had Longford and Kilmany and out the Sale Stratford Road and the Maffra Road out to the racecourse. That was his zone in the town. Well, not in the country, that was the country. And then in the town, he had all down to Thompson Street from Raymond Street.
Was that by horse and cart stand when you delivered for Scotty?
Yeah, in
delivered
the town.
The bread?
In the
Yeah.
town it was, yeah. Out in the country was by a little standard ute with a box in the back, a special box. But in the town, when it wasn't real busy, we had a horse float. But when it was real busy, I had a big wagon, you know, like holidays at Christmas and Easter and all that.
Old Mrs. Lawless had toast and tea ready every morning.
Yeah. Yeah, when I delivered in the town. She'd done it before when Bill Slater used to work there. When I started, she's the same. So we'd give her a fruit loaf. We'd give her a fruit loaf every so often, and she'd have morning tea for her every morning. Her daughter worked for the Nappers. She was working away, and she came home. And she worked for Nappers, Nancy. Nancy, we used to call her Love. Everybody used to call her Love because everybody that went into the shop, she used to call Love. I delivered bread in the morning, but at the night time I used to have to go and empty the tins out and grease the tins ready for the next batch of bread. That was when I was driving the little bus. That was to fill in my time. And that was an old, you asked me, do I know any of the old ones? An old bloke by the name of old Jack Tanner. He used to bake the bread, and Marg's father used to do the pastry. He used to do the cakes and pastry. And old Jack Tanner used to do the bread. Yeah, Charlie. What's Charlie's second name?
Arthur, isn't it?
Charlie Arthur. Charlie Arthur used to work in there too, and in the bakery sometimes. And at one stage Don Woodward was working in there too. After that I went to a grocer's at Howard's, the grocer's, and I used to drive the horse and cart there, and it wasn't far from Jensen's and the Spot Cafe. Drove the horse and cart out round Pearsondale, Kilmany, Warwick, all out round there.
So you had to harness up the horse and
Yeah.
everything? Where did they keep the horse?
In a paddock in behind the main street, just in behind the main street there was a little paddock in there, and I used to have it in there, and I had to harness it up. So there was a shed and everything in there with a harness and everything in, and a big open cart, and wooden one, a beautiful wooden cart, and I think it was made out of cedar, red cedar, and it was all beautifully hand painted and scribed and everything. Anyway, one day out at Warwick, we got a new horse, and the horse went mad. I was trying to get in the cart, and it's trying to kick the cart to pieces. So, and I had the wheel locked. I unlocked the wheel and got on it and give it a couple of good smacks on the bum and headed for Kilmany. There was bits of wood flying all around my ears and everything. So, anyway, it quietened down after a while. It hadn't been worked for very, very much over the last few months before we got it. And, it was a bit frisky and everything. But anyway, then I went from there, I went to Jensen's. And that was down near the Spot Cafe too. Yeah. And then days, there was Jensen's, then there was the Laneway, the Spot Cafe, there was Danny Ryan, the barber. Marg's parents had a baker shop there later on. Then there was Mary Lazaro was there at one stage. That's before Marg's parents took it on. And then there was Wright's the butcher. Pappas's had a milk bar, and Lazaro's were next door to them with their fruit shop. I said Wright's the butcher, didn't I think?
What were you doing at Jensen's?
In the grocery, serving on the counter. Sometimes I might have to go out and deliver a few, but they had Don Hanson, he was one chap, and Katie McMillan, Bill Lovelace, they all worked there at times delivering, but I might have to go out if somebody was something wrong or an urgent one or something like that, but I worked in the shop and all that time. And that's when I first met Freddie Glover and got to know Fred. That's 62 and a half years ago now. Yeah. Ron Ferguson, he worked around in the electrical department with Fred, and he was there for quite a few years. And when Mr. Mills went, he used to manage it. Mr. Mills used to manage it. And when he left, Fergie took over. It was Malcolm McCaddy and Janice Woodlands, and Mark Slater was there, but she was in charge of the office. She had about half a dozen office girls working under her. Yeah. Mary Slater was working in the crockery department, and my sister was in there. Brenda at one stage, Brenda Hunt. Yeah, they were all good people. Yeah, it was really good. Jack Blythe, who used to manage the hardware. Two Blakes, Kevin and Joe Bloke, they were there. They're both dead now, I'm gone. Yeah. Ted Brown was another one that worked at Jensen's. Old Stewie Blythe. Bill Fleiss, who was the manager of the grocery department, he was my boss. Yeah. Little tea room thing there. Or they'd be sitting round on bags of spuds and bags of wheat and all that to have a cuppa. Joy Dillon, she worked in the crockery department too. Yeah, we had a really good social club, and we used to have dances and that every so often, didn't we, Mark?
Mm.
Yeah. We used to have a lot of social functions.
Who organised those?
Oh,
mainly.
Yeah, well, mainly Mark Slater and the girls that worked in the office used to organise a lot of that. Any manual stuff, all the boys had to help.
Did you enjoy working there?
Oh yeah, we used to have some fun.
Yeah.
I was at the pub when it started. I'd lent my gun to Joe Blake, and he brought the gun back this day, and he said to me, he said, "Listen, Stan," he said, "I've brought your gun back." He said, "It's down in the, what's the name room? Coke room." I said, "Oh, it'll be right." I said, "I'll get it tomorrow night." I said, "I'm going over to the pub for a beer." So I went to the pub, and I just got in the pub, and somebody said to me, "Hey, Huddy, your shop's on fire." I said, "Oh yeah, let it burn. She'll be right." Yeah, anyway, I put my head out the door a few minutes later, and I thought they were only mucking around, and she was on fire all right. So I tore across there. Anyway, the gun part of it got burnt, everything. And there was one really good thing with them. Les Lehman was the boss, the managing director, and after the fire he kept everybody on and gives us, plenty of work and everything to keep us there. And every year, it was only funny the other day on the radio, the announcer was asking, "What's the best thing a boss has ever done for you when you're working?" And a lot of people rang in. One person rang in and said he gave me the sack when I asked him for a rise in wages. But Les Lehman, every year, every Christmas, he gave us a week's wages, and all that. He was a really good boss, and he made sure we had work when we wanted it. After Jensen's, I joined the railways and worked on them big trestle bridges from about Yarragon all the way up to the Snowy River at Orbost. The big trestle bridges and the cranes. And them days, nearly all the railway stations had a big crane in the yard for loading timber and all of that stuff into the railway trucks. Mm. And we had to service them too, the ones that worked on the bridges. Mm. Yeah.
Did you go to the pub quite a bit in those days?
Oh, I used to go nearly every night on the way home. Yeah.
These are pubs full of men.
Yeah, and then days, and then I was very good mates with a one-armed chap by the name of Len Robertson who had the sports store. On the way home, I'd go and have a bottle with him more than likely, and so I always used to have a few beers every night.
To see your mates?
Yeah.
Mainly?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Did always the Crown?
No. So that's another thing. In a month's time, they're going to have reopen the Criterion Hotel. And when I first got married, I lived in McAllister Street down opposite the school with Mrs. Bolton. And I used to have a beer at the Cry every night on the way home in them days. And that was built by my great-grandfather, John Cobain, the Criterion Hotel. Yeah, so I used to drink there every night on the way home. And McGill's, Bill McGill had the hotel at the time. Yeah.
Did you drink at the Albion?
Years ago, it was a Saturday afternoon. Sometimes I'd go down there and have a few beers. Yeah.
What was that like? Do you remember what it was like inside?
Well, yeah, it wasn't real flash. But Bill, what's the name? Ted Abel had it at the time. Ted and his son Chris used to work in there, and his brother-in-law, Bill Stevens.
Could you always expect to find the same people in the same pubs?
Mainly, yeah. They were nearly all stuck to their one water hole.
So if you needed to catch up with someone, you'd go
to another pub to find them. Yeah. Yeah, so I used to go around every Friday night around the town, all the pubs, and line up all the boys to make sure we were going shooting on a Saturday morning, because if you didn't have plenty of shooters around, the ducks wouldn't move. And you'd get in the bar and Fred would be there and Marge Fox, and they'd be burp, 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 making out they were playing music. Yeah, every night, every Friday night they'd be on there. Yeah, is that what you call it, scatting?
But of course you had to leave the pub pretty early in those days, didn't you?
Yeah, 6 o'clock closing.
What was that like?
Pretty hectic. Yeah. There was lots of funny stories about the 6 o'clock closing in the Crown. One night, Les McDonald was in there one night, and he had a box. He had a bit of an argument with the what people that owned the Crown, the Dailies. Anyway, they were always having a go at him, and his dog used to come in with him, big collie dog. And this big collie dog, Lassie, come in with him one night, and she's sitting there, and old Jim Daly said, "You better get that dog out of here, McDonald." He said, "You can't come in here anymore." And Les McDonald said, "Well, it's got to go, I'm going too." So away he went. He come back in a few days later, and he had this box with a bag on it. And Jim Daly said, "What's in the box, McDonald?" He used to always just call him by his surname. "What have you got in the box, McDonald?" And Les McDonald said, "Mind your own business, Daly." Anyway, old Jim Daly kept at him, trying to find out what was in the box. And Les McDonald said, "Well, do you really want to know, Daly?" He said, "Yeah." So he tipped the box, took the bag off the top and tipped the box up on the counter, and it was full of bees. And it was just on closing time at 6 o'clock, and everybody in them days used to buy an extra beer or two to do them till they closed. They had about a quarter of an hour to get out after 6. They had to be out by a quarter past. The police used to come around and chase you. Anyway, McDonald took off and left them there, the bees, and old Daly's waving his arms around and singing out for somebody to help him. Nobody could help him, so everybody had run out and they left their change on the bar, and half and half drank their beer. So they had to go and get a beekeeper to come and get the bees back in. Yes, he was a real...
What year do you reckon that might have been, Stan?
Oh, I don't know, that's about the last year we were there, Mark. Oh, That's the going, isn't it?
50s, probably 1950s.
When I first was here, when I was first married, I done a lot of fishing and shooting around the place here, especially with the Glover boys
Where'd you go shooting?
down the Harp Morass. And then a couple of years there, when there was plenty of water on the common, Freddie Glover and myself used to go down every night after work and shoot until the moon come up and splash shoot. That was when I was at Jensen. My friend Fred Glover was going with Jess, and of a Saturday we'd go shooting. And we'd go shooting in the morning, we'd be down the morass and daybreak. We'd come home to go to work in the morning of a Saturday and work till lunchtime. Then we'd go shooting again down the morass. Then we'd head to the pub for a little while, and then we'd go shooting again at night time. And it'd be time for Fred to come back and play in the orchestra, and he'd always be late every Saturday night. And then he put in a big day Saturday. Then he'd go and play in the orchestra all night, and then he'd ride Jess's bike down to Seaspray to see Jess. So yeah, he used to have a really big day of a Saturday. Every year when I was up in New South Wales, I came down for the duck opening to go with duck shooting with the Glover boys every year for about 60-something years. And then I used to come down to the fishing contest here every year too.
You got any stories about that, Stan?
Yeah.
The fishing and shooting?
Yeah. Well, see, this is still running. Yeah, well, we used to play up a little bit in them days, and we used to sneak into the sanctuaries around here shooting too. And anyway, we come home from shooting one night, we'd been in the sanctuaries and we got chased by the police, and we come back into Sale. And anyway, there was a mountain duck amongst all the ducks we got, and Peter Glover wanted to know how to prepare it and everything. And I said, I'm not showing you at this time of the night. I said, you just learn the same as I did. And you know, they wouldn't let me out of the car, so they drove me all out to the drome and all round the town and everything. And anyway, they pulled up near the hospital, and I put the gun out the window and fired a couple of shots. They couldn't get me out of the car quick enough. So, yeah.
You're saying a lot of people have bought your books.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people over in, we've got friends in Tassie and Western Australia, and we've got some relations and that there too. New South Wales, I sold a lot in New South Wales when I lived up around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no trouble about getting rid of them. A lot of people come and ask me, and I've sold more at funerals than I've sold anywhere else. a lot of people I haven't seen for years, and they've come up to me at the funerals. I say, what's this about this book you done, honey? I said, oh yeah. I said, I've done one. They said, well, I want one too. And I've had quite a few like that. I've bought it and sold it at funerals.
Now, Stan, the name of your book, where did that come from? What made you...
I don't know, it just...
Like it or lump it?
Yeah, it just come into me head. And I thought there might be a few people that didn't like it, and I thought, well, they can lump it if they don't like it. Well, that's about all I can say at present and everything, but I hope everybody enjoyed it.